The Biggest Loser? The bombshell report claiming Donald Trump's businesses lost more than $1 billion. Does this kill his rep as a master of the art of the deal? Dr. Jill Biden is live on The View. Why she didn't want Joe Biden to run for president and what changed her mind.
My husband announced that he was running for president of the United States.
How she handled the accusations against her husband and preparing her family for a presidential race that's gonna get ugly.
We're calling him Sleepy Joe because I've known him for a while and he's a pretty sleepy guy.
Hump Day Hot Topics are in the house with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Extra big welcome to the ladies with the rose headdresses.
Yes, it's very
The headdresses are beautiful. Just wanted to point that out.
Is there a reason? Is that a Frida Kahlo reference? Oh, Frida Kahlo. Oh, wow.
How wonderful.
You need the eyebrow.
Beautiful.
Where's the eyebrow? The unibrow that she had, yeah. She had that. Yeah.
Well, you look great. It looked great. I looked over and it was like, Rosa!
Yeah. Very cute.
My 11th, 12th, 11th. Yeah, I've been here a long time. Long time. So we're going to go from that to this. You know, this is a headline that's become way too common in our country. Reportedly, 2 students opened fire at a STEM school, Highlines Ranch in Colorado, killing 1 person and injuring 8. Now, details are still coming in, and we're probably going to talk a little bit more about this later on in the show with Dr. Jill Biden, who's been an educator for her entire career. So we'll talk about that, but we're going to change once again and talk about this.
Okay.
An epic topic, I feel. The New York Times is reporting that guy in the White House who maybe pretended to write The Art of the Deal back in 1987, actually lost more than $1 billion between 1985 and 1994, and didn't pay a dime in taxes for 8 out of those 10 years. Now, he's tweeting that it's a fake news hit job and that he was entitled to massive write-offs and renegotiations with banks. And I mean, my question is, could anyone here get away with doing that? You know, when he first got elected and I was kvetching about the fact that he had not paid any taxes, I said, you know, my mother used to sit at her table and try to figure out how to pay those taxes again. Yeah. I mean, every year she worked her tail off, my mom did. Everybody's mom and dad worked their butts off, and how do you get, I mean,
well, remember Leona Helmsley, who famously said, only the little people pay taxes? Remember that?
Yes,
I was reading the report in the New York Times this morning. I can't decide if he's a fraud or a loser. Either one of those 2 things, because he was fraudulent in many ways. Look at Trump University, for example. And he also lost over $1 billion. And then one interesting point popped out at me, too, actually. One was that his father, Fred, never lost any money, except when he invested in one of Trump's projects, one of his son's apartment buildings. Then Fred even lost money. And the other one is that there's a missing money. There's missing 53, somebody gave him $53 million at one point. So he was in the, not the red, the black.
Yeah.
Who gave him that money? Where'd that money come from?
It doesn't even matter. This guy didn't pay any taxes for it. How do you get away with not paying? I'm sorry. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I mean,
maybe his base will resent that now. I don't know.
Well, but there was a lady here the other day who was talking about the fact that she has a little space, and she and her husband have a place in Chicago, and they rent it out, and you know, they usually get a little money back, and they take the family on a tiny little vacation. Nothing huge. She said not only did she not getting anything back,
that's right, yeah.
but she can't go on vacation because she got to pay them now.
Yeah.
She's paying money, so I think
But I actually think this is a
crazy.
really effective argument for Democrats, is that, look, he scammed the system for so long, he lost $1 billion, and I've never been a businesswoman, but $1 billion seems like a lot of money to lose from my perspective. But I will say,
Did you
people
read that
like Bernie...
no one has ever lost that much money. He has lost more money
there you
than
go.
any
It's
other American.
There you go.
That's quite an accomplishment.
I think if you're Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden right now, you can say, look, even though the economy is doing really well right at this very moment, it's off the benefit of these big corporations and people like Donald Trump who've been able to game the system for so long. And this is, I think, the message that actually could be the kill shot going into our next election cycle.
I just wonder, will his base care? Because the economy is doing well,
I think
and he's being
independents
credited.
will.
I think exactly. I think independents may care, but I don't know if his base will care. I don't know if Republican voters will care. And then when I look at his track record, Joy, I think he's probably a fraud and a loser.
Both,
I think he's both.
He's two
right?
treats in one.
I think he's the two treats in one. It's like a combination package. Because if you look at some of his failures, Trump Airlines failed.
Yeah.
Trump Steaks failed. Trump University failed. Right? Trump Magazine, Trump Mortgage, Trump Beverage, Trump Vodka, Trump's travel site.
But you know what?
Trump casinos.
I don't mind a failure. I don't mind a failure.
I don't mind a failure, I mind a scam.
I mind a scam.
Yeah.
And the scam is what's really pissing
that's
me
the
off.
fraud
And I
part.
think
But let me just,
go ahead.
if you look at the bigger picture, you could have been sitting on your butt for 10 years ordering clothes on Amazon and lose less money than he did in those 10 years, right? So the money that he got from his dad, if he just let it sit and do absolutely nothing with it, and just maybe invested it, he would have done better than actually.
But he's an aggressive
losing that
loser.
money. But here's the other thing I would say on a personal note with Trump is this hits him more than anything else.
Yes.
This is where his insecurity lies. That's why he's tweeting about it, because
And that's why he didn't want to show
part of the
anybody.
deal.
Final pinpoint on that, when he was roasted by Comedy Central, the only rule was you couldn't make fun of him not
His
having
money.
as much money.
Yeah.
That's the only
That's the thing that really triggered him with
It gets
Rosie
him.
O'Donnell. Remember the day that she went off on him?
And is that why we can't see his taxes?
Probably.
Well,
or his grades.
You know.
You know what I would say to the Trump voter? I want to ask the Trump voter one question. Would you let him invest your money?
Well,
That's
I
a
mean,
no
if you're,
for me.
but if you're going to go that far, why would you let him dictate how your taxes should go?
Well, that's
how
the
about
question.
that?
Yeah,
But
or
you
your
have
country.
you have a thing.
I have a legal note. Trump's attorney, Charles Harder, issued the following statement to the New York Times. Your statements regarding Trump's tax returns from 30 years ago are highly inaccurate and based upon information that is demonstrably false.
Yeah.
Any story on this subject that is inaccurate and harms Trump's reputation would be defamatory and actual malice. You are on notice.
Well, the IRS begs to differ. I read that also.
We'll see if the IRS begs to differ.
They do.
I mean, isn't Mnuchin in charge of it?
Well, now. I'm talking about back then.
Facts
I'm
are
just
stubborn
saying.
things, though.
Facts
They
are a
sure
bitch.
are.
They come back and bite you right in the booty. We'll be right back.
Later, royal reveal. The first photos of Meghan and Harry's newborn are released. How they're breaking from royal tradition. Ciara, after selling triple platinum records, marrying a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Where does Ciara go to drop and debut her next big music video? On The View, of course. Woo, Friday. Don't miss her husband Joe Biden campaigns to take on President Trump in election 2020.
Welcome back. So, Duchess Meghan Markle and Prince Harry gave the world the first look at the newest member of the royal family today in Windsor Castle. And here's what they're saying about the little guy. Take a look.
I mean, I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy. He has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm and,
I don't know where he gets that from.
yeah, and he's just been the dream, so it's been a special couple days.
We're just so thrilled to have our own little bundle of joy and to be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, the temperament of my 1-year-old was not the same on day 2 or 3 than it is today.
I know.
Well, no, it takes a minute.
It takes a hot second, yeah.
She's in love now with her baby.
Yeah, it's a
fall in love with
beautiful
the baby.
baby.
You do. You fall in love right away. What I
They're all
love,
beautiful.
I loved that he was carrying the baby, and that they did this non-traditionally for the royals. And I loved that she showed everyone that this is what you look like right after you have a baby. You know, you still have, right, the little bit of a
Can
pouch.
I just say something? Because we're doing the same thing that we tell people not to do. Everybody's body does something different after a baby.
Well, I should say then, this is what I look like, except not as good in terms of the face. But I still had that pouch, and I think a lot of women think that perhaps, you know, your stomach is flat and you have a blowout. I looked really busted right after I had my kids, and I didn't want to have any pictures
but nobody was
taken.
taking your picture.
Yeah,
You know,
I didn't
you
want
just
anybody to take pictures.
eating stuff.
But you know what? I saw this thing on Daily Mail
I'm
yesterday.
still carrying the baby weight.
Yeah.
I really am carrying the baby weight. But,
Me too.
But it's so
What
true.
baby?
The first time you look in the mirror in the hospital once the baby's out, you're like, I'm still very pregnant.
It's
but I
sobering.
saw this picture on Daily Mail yesterday of these 4 women that got together, and they've known each other for a year, and they said, this is what postpartum looks like.
I looked a lot more
and
like
it was the
that.
first time I'd seen a photo like this, and what caught my attention was the comments that they received by posting that. There were women that wrote some pretty nasty things saying, is this an advertisement for why women should get tummy tucks? And how about dieting?
Yeah.
There were some, but there were obviously a number of
someone who writes, how about dieting, after seeing someone who's just had a baby, you know it's a moron.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you look like after you had a baby?
You know, but here's the thing. Everybody's going to look different. Some people are tall and thin, and they may not have stuff hanging over, like, well, I don't know what you had. I still have stuff hanging over. Yeah. I kick it out the way all the time. But, you know, what we have to do is just to remind people that having your baby is you look like what you look like having your baby.
Yeah.
You're not going to look like anybody else.
Just
and
be so grateful for
Yeah,
health. I say this
exactly.
every day, like
Yes.
a healthy child, whatever. I just want to like, and you and I talk about this, like we all do, but like I'm so grateful for my health every day. Really, I really every single day I'm grateful every morning. Can't we just celebrate health? These healthy women with healthy children,
to embrace,
and like
to embrace it.
Yes.
To embrace
And
it.
how incredible the woman body is to be able to
be able to
create
do this.
a child. I mean, for all of the hard things we go through, the body's an amazing thing.
Sometimes,
it really
too.
is.
Yeah, but also, not everybody can do it this way.
yeah.
So just know that you do what you can the best you can, and stop looking and answering these folks who are writing. We'll be right back.
Up next, how does Dr. Jill Biden feel about critics saying her husband Joe Biden's too old to run for president? Is her family ready for President Trump's trash talk on the campaign trail? She's live on The View.
Dr. Jill Biden has a long road ahead of her on the campaign trail with her husband Joe to get you-know-who maybe out of the White House. And she's sharing now how she and her family got here in her new memoir, Where the Light Enters. Please welcome Dr. Jill Biden.
Hi. I'm well.
What your perfume is. You smell lovely.
Oh, thank you. I smell lovely. That's a good start.
Yeah. So I guess I should say congratulations.
You guess?
You know, the family has jumped in.
Yeah.
And 2020 is going to be interesting. And you were apprehensive for a long time about this happening. What
happened?
What happened? What changed your mind?
Well, you know, for the past couple months, maybe a year, more than a year, everywhere I went, people were saying, Joe has to run. Joe has to run. You have to get him to run. And at that point, you know, I wasn't ready to run, but then things were moving so fast. And then Charlottesville happened, and, you know, we were edging toward it. And then we called a family meeting, as we always do, and We pulled in our grandkids and we had a meeting in our library, and we said to the kids, if you don't want to do this, we will not do it. And to a kid, I mean, my grandchildren said, Pop has to run, he has to do this. So we jumped in.
Yeah. A lot of people felt that way.
Yeah. We understand, everyone in your family has to have a say, and I'm glad you guys made the decision to run, but what were some of the factors that maybe you didn't want to run?
Well, our life would change back again, completely, and so it would be just another switch. But I like to look at things in a positive way and think of all the good things that we can achieve and the positive direction we can take this country. And Joe has such a unique, terrific, leadership style where he brings people together, and so I like to look at it that way.
Anyone that's been on a campaign knows that you pay advisors to do their job, but it's the family that is sort of the unofficial, most important advisors. You're the one that wakes up with him whispering in his ear about things that you think he should do. We've had the debate at this table how we think he could best beat Trump. Do you think he needs to get down in the mud and dirty and go to his level, or are you telling him to rise above it and be the bigger person? What is your advice to your husband?
My advice is I don't think Americans want to hear all that vitriol and negativity. And, as Michelle says, when they go low, we go high. And
Well, he did call him a clown the other day.
I know, I had to talk to him about that one.
Even if he attacks the family, is that when it can get personal? Does that change things?
Well, I can't imagine that. Look, Joe is not going to attack like that. I mean, it's just not who Joe is. And we're ready. We know. I mean, I don't know how. Everybody keeps saying it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad, and you're sort of steeling yourself. But my family, I think, is resilient. We've been in politics. My grandkids have never known anything but politics. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle. And I think we're ready, and we'll do it as we've always done it. We'll circle the wagons. This will be as family.
If he attacks the family, I want Joe to go after him, because I do. Because I think that would be the human response, and Joe is a human guy, and he needs to go back at him if he attacks the family. I don't say that he should be, pugilistic throughout the whole campaign, but if that happens, come on, go for the throat.
That's Joy's advice.
I don't know. What is the audience thinking? I just
sticking
don't.
to it.
Joy Behar's Guide to Politics.
We've been talking about this, Dr. Biden. She's not moving. Neither is Megan, but I'm with you on it. We were so honored when your husband came to talk to us the day after he announced, and we talked about difficult topics, and we talked about the fact that he's a toucher, and that's how he connects with people. And some people have taken issue with it. And you even said when you started dating him, he was very affectionate with you, and you were taken aback by it because you weren't used to it.
No, his whole family. I mean, I put in my book the whole lot of them are huggers, and I had to get used to it because my family is. I mean, there's so much love there, but my family wasn't as touchy, and so I did have to get used to that. But Joe said, and I think I mean, I think it's so courageous for these women to come forward. I have to say. I have been in the same spot where I felt that somebody was in my space. It happened a long time ago, and I didn't speak up. I mean, before, years and years ago, women did not speak up. But
I've
now,
been in the same position, and I didn't speak up either.
I know, and then you feel guilty and you feel shame, and. But now it would be different. If anybody got in my space now, I would speak up. And so I think things have moved forward in a positive way. And Joe heard that message. He heard it loud and clear.
So Joe is the front runner right now. And I'm happy.
I'm so happy.
It's looking good. But the Democratic Party is very tricky right now. The year of the woman, they want a woman on the ticket. They want somebody of color. The year of the white man may be a thing of the past they would like. So Cory Booker has already said that he'll put a woman on the ticket. Has Joe made, we asked him this question and he didn't say anything, but is he thinking along those lines, you know, to satisfy that part of the base that really is into, go ahead.
You know, we just announced that we were running like 5 days ago, and now everybody's saying, who's he going to choose as his running mate? I mean, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to take anything for granted. But of course, I mean, a woman on the ticket or someone of color, of course. I mean, you have to look at everybody because it's what, you know, it's so great that so many different
people... That you have choices now.
A lot. Yeah, that you have choices now. Absolutely.
And people want to serve.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, Jill, you admit that you are not a natural political spouse, even though you always looked very natural to me at it. And although your family looked picture perfect, you said that you don't always feel as confident. What are you wrestling with, and do you still feel that way?
You know, when I got into politics, you have to remember, when I married Joe, I was 25 years old. And I had a ready-made family. I don't know whether your audience knows, but Joe had lost his wife and daughter in an automobile accident. So, and he had 2 boys, Bo and Hunter, who survived the accident. And so I came into this, and so it was, you know, just one of those things where it was a lot. It was a lot to take on. And then so then I went to that level. I became a Senate spouse. And then Joe became vice president. And then, you know, I'm a teacher. I don't know whether you know that, but I'm used to, like, being... Oh, good for the teachers! I'm a teacher, too. Love the teacher. So, and that took it to a whole new level. So then I was like, instead of being in my little classroom, you know, talking to 25 people, it was like hundreds of people or thousands of people. It's hard to get used to that.
My mom had a very similar experience.
I bet she did. So, and your mom looked very natural and beautiful out there on the trails and very confident.
Thank you.
So, you know, sometimes, I mean, you sort of have, we have self-doubt.
You're human. You're human.
Well, she doesn't have that issue right now because we're all going to come right back with more with Dr. Jill Biden.
We're back with Dr. Jill Biden. And Dr. Biden, as a lifelong educator, and we were discussing at the break, my mom is a teacher as well. And yesterday there was another school shooting in Colorado. And I know it rocks everyone so deeply, but it also rocks teachers in a different way, I think. Why is this happening, and what is our path forward?
I think we just have to do more about guns. I mean, we just have to get out there. And, you know, as a teacher, as a mother, I mean, I keep thinking of the young boy who saved the other children. And, you know, the classmates jumped in, which is so incredible. And the one boy, Kendrick, who got shot, I just, you know, as a mother who's lost a child, I mean, I just think of his mother and what she's, what the rest of her life is going to have to be like. And I know, as a teacher, and I know there are other teachers here, I mean, first day in my classroom, I have to say to my students, this is, if there is a shooter, this is what we do. This is how you handle it. I want you to get in your mind a path of escape. And I show them the exits and how to get out. And think of it right now, right today. How would you handle this if a shooter came?
It's just awful.
And I don't remember
terrible.
We didn't have that
doing that when I was in
school. No, we never had anything like this.
No. They tell it to elementary school kids have to go through this. It's heartbreaking.
Kindergartners go through it.
It's really
everyone goes through it.
Yeah. But you know what? I've heard from so many people that after Sandy Hook, if the country couldn't make changes after losing all of those young kids, are we ever going to get to a place where we can really solve it?
Joe's going to work so hard at it.
Yeah.
He is going to work so hard.
That's the number one. So switching gears a little bit, when you were second lady, not second lady, I guess they call it, right?
Yeah. I like to say captain of the vice squad.
That's a good one. So you were actually working full-time as a professor at Northern Virginia Community College, which I believe you're still there, right?
I'm still there.
Yeah.
So I should say hi to my students. But so yeah, I'm grading research papers as you know all day long. I have to post my grades tomorrow, so
Deadlines.
Yeah, deadlines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you write that you didn't want to be called Mrs. Biden. You wanted your own life.
Yeah.
Why did you want to be called Mrs. Biden?
Well, Mrs. Biden was Joe's mom.
Oh,
So, and I have my doctorate, so I was Dr. B. I told them, I sort of said, hi, I'm Jill Biden, but call me Dr. B. So they did. They called me Dr. B. And so I have to tell you, this is like the funniest story. So they didn't really know that I was second lady. I don't know, they were focused on their lives. They're community college students. They're raising families. They're working. They're going to schools. So anyway, it was May. I was doing grade conferences. And so a student comes in, a woman, and to get her grades. And she said, Dr. B. And I said, yes. She said, I saw you last night on the television with Michelle Obama. And she said, and I said to my mother, Mom, there's my English teacher. And her mother said, that's not your English teacher, that's the second lady. So anyway, not all my students always knew. And I bet some watching today probably thought, what? She's the second lady.
That's funny. Great. Wow. They need
That's
to watch more news.
Well, we will be
They got to get out more,
right
man.
back with more of Dr. Jill Biden.
So we are back with Dr. Jill.
And let's get personal, because you and Joe have a marriage that has spanned and a love 40 years, or over 40 years.
42. It'll be 42.
Unbelievable.
Oh, look at that.
And it's so clear how much you guys care for each other. And you spoke about it earlier, but take us back to when you first started dating him. He had two sons, Hunter and Beau. They had lost their mom. They'd lost their sister. And what Joe said to them is, Mommy sent you to the boys.
Wow.
How much comfort did that give you in that time?
I think it gave them the boys a lot of comfort, because how could they make any sense of losing their mother and their sister?
They were young, too,
They
right?
were,
6 and
yeah,
7?
they were babies, 5 and 6, and just so young and vulnerable. And so when we got married, I mean, I said I fell in love with the boys, and boy, I really did. So I was lucky. I mean, I felt that their mom really gave me a gift, and I had to honor that gift.
Wow,
Beautiful.
you did.
Thank you.
You did.
Jill, I know you know this, but I cry every time I talk to your husband. When he's on the show or after, your family has brought my family so much comfort through the worst time in my entire life and our lives. Your family went through the same thing when you lost your son, Beau, to the exact same cancer, glioblastoma. It's horrific. I remember the images of Beau's funeral, and you look kind of how I looked. You look sad, you look lost, and you can see your emotions. Your husband said it does get easier, but you say you still aren't healed, and I'm not healed. So how are you not healed?
Well, first I have to say, you know how much we loved your father, and he was a giant of a man. And going through loss is just really tough. And I wake up every day and I think of our son, and I have to find ways that I can cope with that loss. And so I try to really start my day maybe with poetry. I go to exercise. I try to just create balance in my life. And I know Joe's faith has helped him through it. My faith was shaken. We all handle grief in very different ways. Joe clung to his faith. I sort of, I don't know, I didn't think Beau was going to die until the moment he closed his eyes. I mean, I just thought he was going to live. And, I thought, how could this happen? And so actually, for the last couple of years, I haven't been able to go to church. I haven't been able to pray, but I have to tell you, something happened to me this weekend that was life-changing for me. We were in South Carolina, and we were at a black church. And, you know, at my church, everybody sits there, you know, real quietly and all, you know. And I walked into the black church, and everybody was singing, and there was joy. And the woman next to me put her hand on my hand, and she said, "I want to be your prayer partner."
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
And I thought, prayer partner? What's a prayer partner? But I thought it was so kind. And I thought that maybe God was saying to me, "Hey, Jill, it's been 4 years. Come back. Come back." So it was just one of those powerful moments in my life. And so, Megan, you know, and I'm sure so many people have come up to you that have suffered from cancer. And so many people were praying for your family, prayed for my family. And, you know, you feel that, hey, I owe them my prayers now. So I think if you can maybe channel your grief to find that purpose, I think that has to be the answer, that you have to find that purpose in your life that helps you to deal with it day by day, because it is day by day.
It's definitely true. I really appreciate that advice. And for whatever it's worth, I just think it consoled me that you had struggled with it, because I'm still, my faith has been rocked, and I understand it, and it's hard not to be angry at God, especially with this specific cancer, because it rages your brain, and your brain is who you are.
It was terrible.
But thank you again for all of your love.
You will, it evolves. It doesn't ever heal.
No.
You always carry it with you. It just, it can help you change you. That's the thing, that's the gift you get. You help change yourself. So our thanks to Jill Biden. Members of the audience are getting a copy of her book, Where the Light Enters. We will be right back.
Whether it's your birth mom, the person who raised you, or any other mother figure that you turn to when you need them. So right now, we are looking at one-of-a-kind gifts from every kind of mom from our sponsor, Etsy. Please welcome Etsy's trend expert, Dana Isom Johnson.
Thank you.
So I personally love Etsy, but for people that don't know what Etsy does and what they're known for, what is Etsy?
So Etsy, we are the destination for special. We have over 60 million items from sellers all around the globe. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite things for Mother's Day and make sure you get just that special thing for Mom.
I love the idea of this cutting board. Tell us all about this.
Okay, so shoppers come to Etsy because they know that they're working with an independent seller and have the opportunity to personalize things. So with these cutting boards, you can get names, families. One thing that I really love is that you can even get recipes printed on cutting boards. It's a great thing to continue passing down, and these are only $17 to $28.
That is brilliant. No excuses, everybody out there. All right, next we have got personalized necklaces.
Yes, so this is wonderful for the modern mom who likes to get a little jazzy, right? So we have some initial necklaces here, and as your family continues to grow, you can add birthstones, more charms, you can wear it solo, layered necklaces, anything you want to do.
I actually got one of these after my first daughter with her initial on it. And I love it. It means so much more.
Yeah.
Fashion accessories.
Yes.
Can't go without those.
Yes, and these are 29 and up.
Okay.
Okay, so fashion accessories. One of the biggest trends of 2019 is all about maximalism. So that means mixing colors, print, texture, all of that and above, and this is certainly a representation of that. So
these are cute.
Aren't these great? Now these range in price. The small size here is 25. It goes up to 50 for the larger clutch. What makes these even more special is that this is perfect for the eco-friendly mom because they're 100% vegan leather.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm like many people, and I woke up this morning thinking, it is Mother's Day this weekend.
Yeah.
I got to get going on some gifts. So for last-minute shoppers, Give us
Now,
some ideas.
You no longer have to feel badly that you are maybe one of those last-minute shoppers because
you're all out there with me,
yes,
by the way.
and that's okay. No need to be upset with yourself anymore. Etsy has the solution. We call them printables. So what that means is that these are items that you can purchase from the comfort of your couch. Click buy, the seller is going to send you a file, and you can print them right there at home. And that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice something being special or customized, because it can still be personalized.
Is that what this is here as well?
Yes, so the card's only $2. No excuse to ditch personalization.
And you can do it in your underwear on the couch.
Yes, you can. And then finally, we have this incredible wall art that can also be printed at home. What you're gonna do is you're gonna work with this seller, send the birthdays of your family, and they create custom star constellations and create this amazing wall art. Now, when you wanna take it a step further and be that star kid, you're gonna go to a local frame shop, get it framed, tie a bow around it, and you're all set. $34, everything under $100.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And you go to Etsy.com for all this stuff.
Yes, so if you want to see these